Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Buy Round. I am James Graham, joined by Luke Keary. Before we get into the episode, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, news on the show, we have 2 episodes exclusive to our Patreon Club members. So if you want to get involved and get more of shows and content like this, please do get on that Patreon, have a look around. We've also had a great episode of the Fan Round Table with all 3 teams represented getting the 2 points. So maybe a bit of a coincidence there. Manly were always getting the 2 points, but hey ho. We've also got the Buy Round with thanks to Mac as the top 99 players in the game. First episode of that is dropping this week, so stay tuned for that. Kez, that's a big introduction. For all things Buy Round, a lot happening on the show. Producer Charlie White as well came in his shirt, looks very dapper, very smart. Obviously, he's had a TV appearance this morning. There's no reason to dress as well as he has.
Maybe he's come from last night.
You reckon he's gone straight through?
Actually, no, he's not.
No, he's definitely not. Unfortunately, that's not. He has lost his pass for the car park though, but that's for Wednesday's show. Kez, how are you going, mate?
Good, mate.
How's the week been?
Yeah, good. Big weekend. First call with Emma Lawrence on Saturday.
Yes, how was it?
Awesome. Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, good.
I didn't do any of the rehearsals with her. Woodsy did, but yeah, she was awesome. I was like refreshing, I reckon.
Yeah,
Refreshing.
good.
It was awesome. She did really well.
And how are you finding your new life in media?
You know what? I didn't know. I'd obviously dabbled in it while you're playing, but it's so different to when you're playing. Like you'd know, you go on different shows every now and then, and you really got to watch what you say. Everything you say, all you're thinking about is all the boys would be listening to me, and I got to walk into the change rooms tomorrow, and they're all going to give me shit.
You've got your guard up, don't you?
You do, yeah. And you're protecting your own club, and you're still really competitive, and you don't like everyone else. So I'm actually really enjoying it. I've always watched every game of footy, right? I've always been massive footy head, so none of that's changed. But even just being able to really look deeper into the game and not be competitive, you know, when you watch it as a player and you go, you're just trying to break teams down and figure out ways to beat them and why you're better than them and things like that. But now I can really enjoy it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, good.
I'm loving meeting everyone too and working with different people and how they think about the game and talk about the game.
Mate, you know what? I can relate to you, like watching the game in a certain way. A few things that we brought up last year. The short kick is on. I was watching Parramatta against Dragons yesterday. Parramatta leave that front line so vulnerable. Like they put maybe there's 3 covering that 10, and the side that they don't kick to, there is a huge amount of space. And I'm just going, you know, you set up to kick to the left, and then the right hand side. Just get someone else to just grubber it in. You're gonna get the ball back. Yeah. Like there is so much opportunity for the short kick.
You didn't see when you were playing.
No, I used to always be up for it, but unfortunately, never got my license, or no one had listened. But honestly, not the short kick off the contestable kick. Yeah. The short sneaky grubber kick regather is on all the time. Like absolutely all the time. There's so many teams that are just so blasé and they're just not ready for if it happens. I reckon it's a calculated risk that if you can, as long as you get a good execution on the kick, you're getting the ball back 100%.
It's interesting.
And on the media front, you talk about having your guard up. Last week we spoke about Jake Trbojevic and his thought process. Well, I was, I Googled NRL news like I often do, and I saw this article pop up. And it was like NRL player or former NRL player calls for Jake Trbojevic to retire. I'm like,
oh, from that chat last week.
Well, so I've gone.
Wasn't me, was it?
Literally gone. Who the F would have said that? That's a big statement to make. Click on it. It's like, it's me. I'm like, no, I didn't. I read the article. I'm like, at no point do I use the word retire. Like, no point did I use that. I don't know. It was on a couple of websites. It was such poor journalism. Like they basically
no, that chat wasn't about that.
No, it wasn't. At no point did we say, and obviously, with last week with Gordon Tallis and Bedell, and we talk about how certain journalists have got angles and they're spokespeople for certain clubs, but this is just poor journalism. I had it with Peter Fitzsimons where he took my words out of context, like didn't enjoy that. I'm happy to be criticised, but not misquoted or misrepresented.
Yeah, that chat definitely wasn't about that.
No, it wasn't. So completely taken out of context, clickbait, like just not our game and journalists should be better. But a few things have caught my eye in terms of the game and the officiating. A lot of talk about the 6 games and how that's affecting the product. Kez, I mean, I've sort of come to the conclusion the game isn't 4X pros. And I even read some comments by Cameron Munster, and I thought, like, yeah, we got to care about what the players think, but the game really it's played by the players, but it's for the fans.
Yep.
That's going to dictate the product fundamentally. But my gripe isn't with the 6 games. I think teams can adapt and teams can change.
I think we've seen a big change this week too. Like they were always going to stamp their authority, and I actually like it because, well, not like it, but I think it is necessary in terms of you send that message to the clubs at the start of the year and go, this is what we expect. We want a game that looks like this, and then you pull back on it a bit, and clubs adapt. And we've seen it this week. I reckon I don't know the numbers, but I reckon there would have been a lot less, and you felt there wasn't those huge swings where there was 5, 6, 7 in a row. So I do agree with you.
But those two things are not what's concerned me for the game. The two moments I'm referring to, one is the potential 8-point try that was given to the West's Tigers for Latrell Mitchell's attempt in dislodging the ball. I don't think that should have been given as a potential 8-point try. I say this because at no point would any of the West Tigers players claim for that. Nobody in the coaching box would have thought that was going to happen. I don't think any ex-pro, many Tigers fans watching that game, any neutral, any South fan watching that game would have gone, hey, we're going to concede a potential 8-point try here. It was, in my opinion, it was an act of a try save. Now, we've seen some incidences highlighted this year of fullbacks coming in and using their feet and their knees. Now, I'm happy for those to be awarded a potential 8-point try because that's using your feet. It's a no-go area. But in the act of trying to save a try, if you, what I would deem, accidentally make, minimal contact with the face or the head, then that's play on, because you can't discourage freaky try saves like that knockdown. Like you just can't discourage that.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been an 8-point try, but he got it wrong a little bit. Like
put him on report.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been. He got it wrong a little bit. He touched him on the face.
Yeah, and
everyone that gets touched on the face now is a penalty.
Yeah.
So by the letter of the law, they probably got it right. A foul play while someone's trying to score a try, it's an 8-point try.
But I just think we open up a huge can of worms, and people will talk about consistency. I think no, let's not be consistent with that. Let's just rub that out.
Let's use common sense.
Because there's going to be some big games. Like thankfully, the Tigers didn't win by 2, and they were bloody close to winning by 2. Had Luai and Dewey maybe not gone off injured, maybe they do win by 2, and the spotlight comes on that. We can't have games being decided by that. I just think it's a bad look for our game. Like 8-point tries should be such an irregular
feature.
Rare.
I think it is rare.
It is.
But they can't. That's
if that one is an 8-point try or a potential 8-point try, I should use that term correctly, then we open up.
Big can
and we also open up players claiming for it. which I don't particularly want to see. Like them going to the ref, well, he hit him. There was foul play involved in the act of scoring. There's going to be a potential 8-point try. Don't want to see them. And then, so look, the NRL, I don't want to see consistency with that. Just don't do it unless it's a legs coming in, fair dues, or an actual deliberate act, which doesn't look like it. So there's a difference between going to whack your orientation of your hand, like north to south, you're going to whack the ball. But if you go east-west,
you can't.
That is dangerous. If that makes sense to the listeners, obviously if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my hand movements, that north-south down to whack the ball out versus east-west coming across. Like
coming
that,
at the head,
you're going towards the head. So I think there's some things that you can look at there. And then second of all,
this is the one. This is the one that got me.
The penalty try. He's so far out.
It's not even close. It's not even close to a penalty try.
It's not, is it?
No. To be honest, it's probably a professional foul, but it's borderline. It's borderline because he wouldn't have been able to see it. He would have gone for 10, but it's nowhere, not even in the ballpark of a penalty try.
Happy to see Jaden Sewer sent to the sin bin there. I'm okay with that. I think that's the right call. But a penalty try to be awarded to Journo Pezzett in that situation.
I thought it was nearly a forward pass, too.
Well, you've got that. You've got that to consider as well, which we can't adjudicate on with the bunker. But I just don't know how they've summed up that situation and words to the effect of, in our opinion, he scores. It's like, no, he doesn't. He's a good 7-8 meters away from the try line.
Yeah, Gutherson was coming across.
He's got players to beat. He's got to catch the ball. He's got players to beat. It was a bizarre decision. A bizarre decision to be awarded.
Yeah, I think everyone was surprised. I think Cooper Cronk was in the Fox commentary. I heard you boys on Triple M. It wasn't a right call.
Yeah,
I think they'll come out today, hopefully. And
hopefully,
that's another one. The Dragons, when they still would have been punished with having 12 on the field, but you look back to Vegas, they had a few tough decisions, and that decision. Then all of a sudden today, we're speaking about Shane Flanagan being under pressure and they're 0-3. But these are things that matter in club. Like, for us as fans and media people, it's not as big of a deal, right? Yeah, it's not as big of a deal, right?
Because
we just move on to Monday. But these coaches, their lives, their livelihood depends on it.
Yeah, they're stewing over.
All of a sudden, people this week will be putting him under pressure. They could easily be 2-1, and they had Melbourne on the ropes with 15 to go. They're 0-3.
Kez, you're right. These are the small things that compound, and now they're 0-3, and they've had a tough start draw-wise. But like you say, they could be 2-1. I'm not sure on their next block of fixtures, but they
play the Titans this weekend.
Yeah,
both 0-3.
Both 0-3. Somebody's O has got to go, but the wrong way round. It's a boxing phrase. I think when fighters are undefeated, their O has got to go, but somebody's O has got to go in terms of you get your first win off the rank. But again, like, it does add to the pressure and the pressure to perform. Like, the Dragons have had a grinding approach, couple of moments of brilliance. That right edge is looking really good, like Atkinson, and what they're starting to build over on that right hand side of the field. We're going to talk about them a little bit later on, but I don't know if the Dragons win that game. If that penalty try isn't given, but it certainly didn't help. Little things add up, and then it compounds with pressure, because if the Dragons play like they did in the opening 3 rounds, they should beat the Titans. But it's the psychological effect of being 0-3, and now
they'll be nervous
we have to win this game. It's not about performance. It's about having to win this game, which is different approach psychologically going into a game.
This podcast is brought to you by NordVPN, and as you can see, I'm here in a hotel room. I'm away in Las Vegas, Nevada, but I am protected. All thanks to NordVPN. The hotel Wi-Fi, great. Thank you so much, Results World. But I want to be safe, so I'm using NordVPN. When I am away, I like to stay in touch with everything happening back home, which is now Australia, but also England as well. And I get to use all the apps, all the streaming services with one click of a button. In fact, no, I don't even need to click. It is on 24/7, 365 for me, NordVPN, because I don't want to worry about any of those people that are trying to get my sensitive information, my password, my login, my banking details. As we all know, our lives are on our phone now. So why not protect it with NordVPN? I often wish I could be in two places at once, Sydney, Liverpool, but I can't be. But I can be with NordVPN. I get to switch my location at the click of a button, which gives me advantages to be in two places at once. We all know we've got that overseas friend. Have you seen that show? Can't get it. Well, yes, you can. If you've got NordVPN, you can hide your location, change your location, and watch all the shows that those overseas friends get to enjoy that you don't. So to get the very best deal from NordVPN, head to nordvpn.com/James Graham, where you get 4 free months with a 2-year plan and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Click on the link in the show notes.
Just on that Eels-Dragons game, we're going to get a clip from Coach Riles, who had this to say regarding the ACL injury to Eels forward Jermaine Hopgood.
Those tackles, like 99.99999% of the time, the boys don't mean it. Okay, so it's not intentional, but unfortunately, you keep throwing fatigue into the game and you keep making them tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. They happen. So that's the reality, and you just gotta practice and mitigate it as much as you can, and hope that it doesn't happen.
So Riles basically referring to the injury of is accidental, but the causation being fatigue. I've looked at the numbers. Ryan Couchman into the game at minute 19. The offence was committed at minute 27. So I
don't think Rolsey thought about that actual incident when he said that. Like, I don't think he thought about, how long was he on? Was very fatigued. I think he's just referring to the same issue we've spoken about, same issue everyone's spoken about first 3 weeks. The increase in the 6 agains, the increase in the ball in play, it's adding fatigue to the game. It's the wrestles going out there. They're policing the ruck a lot harder. But, yeah, like you said, I tend to disagree with them because our product is as good as it gets. Like last year, I thought it was outstanding. They've gone too hard early, but I'd rather them go too hard than too soft. And you see these stop-starty games, slow rucks, things like that. So I think he's referring to that issue, which I don't think was an issue. Yes, I don't think it was an issue
I don't think
that game.
Fatigue caused that tackle or caused that action from Ryan Couchman.
No,
I think it was more just pure unlucky and just.
Yeah, I wouldn't say unlucky. There's a technique thing.
Yeah,
there. Like when a bloke's doing that and you purposely roll down the back to get him to the ground.
Okay,
and I know that they coach him now not to do that.
Yeah,
so I think that's a mistake from him. He'll get suspended.
Yeah,
like you can call it an accident, but everyone knows now you can't do that.
It will be likely at time of recording. The charge sheet isn't out, but it likely will be looking at a number of weeks on the sideline. Yeah. Look, injuries are going to happen in a collision sport, and if the game is sped up, then I think that probably leads to an increase in soft tissue injuries. And you like Coach Ryle said, that fatigue factor injury. But then if the game's too slow, it leads to a different style of injury because you've got much bigger bodies physical with much greater force. So there's no perfect solution. Injuries are going to be a byproduct of a collision sport. It just is what it is, and there's no there's no silver bullets out there that I feel is like waiting for Peter V'landys, Andrew Abdo, the commission to go, oh, well, next year when we review, we're going to get this perfect.
Yeah.
And we're going to please ex-pros, players, fans, coaches. We're going to be completely injury-free game. The product's going to be even better than it's ever been before. It just... It's just the nature of the beast.
I think we're in a good spot.
I'm with you. I think we are in a good spot. We'll get into that Eels Dragons game. Look, Para come back from Brisbane full of beans, full of confidence. They were a bit underwhelming yesterday, but our attention goes to the Dragons, who start the season 0-3. For me, I said before about the right-hand side starting to get a little bit of joy there with Atkinson, Sewer and Holmes. But they were crying out for some X factor. Yeah. Jacob Liddle came into the game, not really sure if Cook was injured, because when I looked at the Dragons last year, they looked their most dangerous when Cook and Liddle were on at the same time. It was a straight swap, Cook for Liddle, so not sure what Coach Flanagan was thinking there, or maybe perhaps an injury. But the Dragons are screaming out for X factor. They've got Tyrell Sloan, who's playing in reserves, who I think is an X factor style of player. Doesn't seem to fit in Coach Flanagan's plans. What was your assessment of the Dragons yesterday?
I think it's hard to be super critical of them, because I actually think they've been fairly good to start the year. Like, I thought they were really good in Vegas, obviously, when not much went their way. Then I thought they were actually, for 60 minutes against Melbourne, they were the better. So they were in front. Yeah. Until Clint Gutherson went off with the HIA.
And Melbourne's X-factor player
ended up winning the game. So I do agree with you. They need something. They need a player who can just create some stuff out of nothing or take advantage of some stuff. The Atkinson... Flanagan comment. I think Atkinson's doing really well. It's funny, Flano's he's got the 6 on his back, but as soon as they get down into good ball, he's actually playing halfback for him. If you watch him closely, he's on ball in the middle of the field. Atkinson plays as a 5'8" down there. They're playing a lot of these tip passes where Flano will get it and either tip it onto Gutherson or Atkinson, and then they'll play with that with their centre and back row, and it's been successful for them. They've scored a few tries. Atkinson put his back row through yesterday, but I tend to think, do you swap it back over and put Atkinson on and Flano as a running 6, but it's probably not his biggest strength, Cole, but they need a little bit more out of Flano in terms of creating stuff, I think. I think Gutho's going to be Gutho. He's an effort player. Yeah. He's gonna set some tries up for you, which he has done to start this year. He's going to be everywhere. I feel like he's their heart and soul, but they need a little bit of X factor. They need someone. You said at the start of the year, the close games is what they lost last year, and it'll be their Achilles heel again, which is why you weren't too high on them.
Well, you go to Vegas and losing by a point, and they were gutsy, but they
still had chances to win it there if someone got it together.
I'm fast forwarding a little bit here. Sharks played Dolphins. Yep. I thought the Dolphins were the better team.
Yep.
And in the last 10 minutes, like they blew them away, but it was X Factor style of players, which I think those teams that are equal, those are the players that are making the difference in the result, deciding the result. And I've thought about this from a Dragons perspective and go, do you wait until next year? You've got Keon Kaloma-Tangi coming in, who's going to, strengthen their forward pack even more. They're going to get more games into both the Couchman boys, Stewart, Egan. They're going to be better again, becoming those sort of 50 gamers. Yep. But do you have a scout about the league now, and the club that springs to mind, the player that springs to mind is the Titans, with an oversupply of X-Factor style players, and the person who I think would be the natural target would be AJ Brimson.
It's a good shout.
And do you go and explore his availability? And probably, you know, I even thought about would the Sharks do that? I don't know, because I think Trindle, and you'd be hard to move on Trindle or Hines. Yeah. And I don't know if AJ is going to come as a 14 to the Sharks. But I think, you know, Coach Flanagan, I'm maybe paraphrasing him, but I'm sure he's on record as saying Kyle's a 14 and he's our 14. Whether or not you can have...
He did say that at the start, yeah.
Yeah, whether or not you can have Liddle and Kyle on, maybe on a 6-man bench, yes, and Kyle covers that halves area, or, you know, you account for injury and whatnot, but do the Dragons go and knock on the Titans' door and say, look, clearly you've got an oversupply, you probably need something different here, we'll bring AJ in, he becomes our X factor style of player, and a person that can break a game open.
Yeah, I think the answer's right under there. No, I think it's Cade Reed.
Really?
I do. I think he needs time though. I don't think it's now. I wouldn't do it. I think he's the end. I think he's the long-term answer for him.
Yeah, that's long.
I think he's got X factor.
Yeah.
I think he showed in that trial he can create stuff from nothing. He's a competitor. I spoke to a few people who follow those juniors, and they said he carried that. I think it was Illawarra team or St. George team, one of them, through SG ball. They just need to develop him right and get him in there. And I think when he does come in, he's their 7, and Atkinson moves to 6, which I think would suit him just a little bit better.
You think 2027 we'll see that change?
I think a year in reserve grade, from what I saw in that one trial, you'd hope he's ready to go. You'd hope he's nearly ready to go. Bring Keon in. Yeah.
Do you think maybe...
I like what you've said, though. I like that idea of, hey, if they think that that's the one thing they need right now to get them into the finals, go and ask the question, because there is that feeling there at the Titans.
I'm just going to look up AJ Brimson's age. He's signed to the end of 2030, but I mean, he's 27 now. Signed on a long-term deal, but I mean, look, I don't know if the Titans would be, you know, massively disappointed to see him leave. It would free up a lot of space. Maybe you're talking about Cade Reed there, and you know the plan for the future. It's hard to know exactly what best position suits AJ. Does he maybe even come to the club as a fullback and you move Gutherson into 5'8"?
I wouldn't be moving Gutherson. That says Tyrell Sloan, like, he's not a better player than Clint Gutherson. He may have some attributes that make him, he can create a little bit more in certain situations, but he's he's nowhere near.
No, but oh, sorry. I mean, if you bring AJ down to the club, you put him at 6 for now, and then you look at an off-season rejig. Maybe Gutho finds a home in the centres. Yeah,
I do. I don't know if that's the answer for him. Is he really going to give him that?
AJ?
Yeah. Do you think he takes them to the next?
I don't know if he takes them into becoming premiership contenders, but I think he improves their chances of victory, especially what I'm identifying.
Well, if he comes down, he's got to play 5'8". Oh, I think, because I think Gutho's...
Yeah, but maybe with an eye on the future, Gutho into his 30s, very difficult to maintain that level that he has done for so long. I just think the Dragons are crying out for it. And I think he's the obvious candidate. Even Cook, he's going to sign a 1-year extension. They're going to have to make some moves at 9. Whether Little that will become that starting 9, it remains to be seen. But I think it's crying out for that, and he's the obvious candidate. And we're looking at the stats here. Last year, lost 10 games by less than 10, and the inability to close out those close games. I mean, Coach Flanagan is looking to assemble a roster like he did at the Cronulla Sharks, to to go and try and win a premiership. I think the Dragons are quite a way off that. And as he's assembling this squad, he's got the young forwards, kind of like he and they will become experienced. He got that experience, but he also had X factor. We're thinking of Benny Barber, James Maloney, Jack Baird, like players that can just
Val Holmes.
Players that can just do these incredible individual feats. I think that's it. Just watching them live. I've watched them live now 2 games in a row. And that's exactly what they've missed.
Have they said? I'm pretty sure he's come out and said they're close to signing. Was it 1 or 2 international players? He's publicly said that, right? 2 franchise players. So they're obviously. I don't know if he's just saying this or
Keon's 1.
Was it before that? No, it was 2 more.
And 2 more.
So it might be a Brimson. They're obviously speaking to someone or people where they think they're.
What about
really?
Jureen Buller would be another.
Yep.
Who's not taken up that option today?
I think they know. I reckon they know exactly what you're thinking. You're saying
they,
right now,
yeah.
and they're making moves in the background. But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it
that
is.
stuff. Like you might go to the Titans and they go no way, and then you go to the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the Titans need to make a call there.
But then you look at them and go, what do they do? Put Ilias there?
Yeah.
Really?
For now, yeah. Well, they've got Campbell, Brimson, Keanu Keeney. They're three lads that want to play fullback. Really, like 3 best position fullback. And if you're not going to play fullback, well, probably, 5'8" is your preferred option.
Yep.
So I always say this: you look at people with oversupplies, and like maybe Perth Bears are having that same little look as well.
They will be in the market for a lot of the same people, and P&G are about to come in the market.
Yeah, and I think I've said this before. Like I think Dragons, I said about that obvious thing being the obvious answer being up at the Gold Coast. Maybe it's down in Melbourne for a lad that is or isn't retired. And when Flano talks about franchise players, and we said Jerome Bula, Ryan Pappenhausen would be a franchise player.
I get the feeling he's done.
Could you imagine him at that?
I know, but I get the feeling he's mentally done. I've run into a couple of times, mate. He's caddying around the world.
How long can he do that for?
Yeah, I know, but I get the feeling from him that he walks to his own beat, which is really good. He's a unique individual, and he's done from everything that I've spoken to him.
That'd be like look. I get that, but then how long can you cruise around for?
Yeah.
Like, how long can you actually? Is that sustainable? And how long till you go? Oh, the penny drops. And you go, I kind of miss it. And maybe we talked about risk assessment. Maybe he goes, well, maybe it is actually worth it. Maybe it is worth the risk. Yeah. It'd be quite the story if he is actually done and dusted. You think about him, Josh Schuster recently, like 2 players, obviously different situations, but 2 players that are happy to walk away from the game. Maybe the times are changing, kids. Yep. Maybe they are. The Roosters against the Penrith Panthers. We'll go Penrith angle first. A lot of people talking about their defensive attributes, which are second to none. Clear favourites now, especially with Ladbrokes, to take out the premiership. Most people in and around the game feel the same way, feel it's going to take a suspension or an injury to one of their stars to bring them back to the pack. I think one thing that probably isn't highlighted enough with this Penrith team is their skill. And not just Nathan Cleary, that one where he went across and showed it to the inside and then flicked it to the outside. Like, that's pretty incredible. That's what we've come to expect from Nathan. Yeah. But 2 bits of individual skill. The Brian Toto try was absolutely ridiculous. I think that's better than Marky Marks, personally. And then Isaiah Papali'i and that pass, that cut-out pass.
Some fullbacks would have been it.
Mate,
every fullback would have been it.
Every fullback would have been stoked with that. The everything's about defence with the Panthers, and they kept the Roosters. I think they've conceded 2 tries in 3 games.
10 points.
10 points in 3 games. That's incredible, especially with an in vogue attacking comp with 6 games.
Yeah.
But their individual skill, I must say,
they had conceded the most 6 games before the weekend. They had conceded the most against them.
But this is where not all 6 games are equal. So whereabouts on the field you concede your 6 games is everything. The Panthers are happy inside their 20. They'll purposely go out of their way to concede them.
Inside their 20?
Inside their own 20.
Yeah, wow.
Because I think it was Cooper Cronk saying the call around the Roosters look cooked. The Panthers are marinating their opposition midweek because I think attacking setup-wise, you play the Panthers, you know in the week your regular style of gameplay and your regular formation and your usual plays and your style is going to need to be absolutely perfect, or you're going to have to do something different to break this side down. So they're already in your heads. So that adds to the pressure of when you're in the opposition's red zone. So they're happy to concede them there, knowing, like, look, it's a hard place to break down anyway.
They're not
the pressure that puts on, they think, we're down here, we've got to score. They also are happy to give them away on first tackle, because I think they know as well the probability of a referee or a match official giving another one decreases. And I think they play on the minds of it. And also, I just want to point this out about where the game is going with defence. And, you know, if you think about defence, and people often talk about missed tackles, right? That's a big stat in NRL, but people like it. Well, it's on every NRL stat sheet. Will show the missed tackles from opposition, and usually it's a good indicator of how well the defence goes. Ineffective tackles from the Penrith Panthers was 27. That's a lot. Missed tackles 44.
Yeah, it's a lot.
If that's the Titans or the Cowboys, we're highlighting that and going, they missed too many tackles.
They're conceding a lot.
They
work so hard from the inside. Like I was lucky enough to be there on Friday. That's the best team I've ever seen. Like, I'm considering their last 5 years too. That is the best team I've ever seen. Like their skill. They'll if any other team throws the ball around like that, they drop the ball 15, 20 times. Like they were throwing passes around, offload. They're not. We've accustomed to them just grinding teams down, 5 outside backs out of yardage. That they've adapted and changed. That shift off the kickoff when Alamotti went around power guard, like they aren't just a boring. They're not boring.
Yeah, they're good. They're fun to watch.
Mate,
they're actually fun to watch.
They're offloading. They're throwing the ball around. Like it's as good. They're 22 from 23 at half time, and it was Roosters were on top for the first 10 minutes. And I was sitting there going, okay, this is really interesting. Like this could be, and then all of a sudden, within 5 minutes, the game was over. It was over because they just went, all right, well we'll go again here. Can you come with us? And they couldn't come with them.
Yeah, they're not an emotional team either.
No, they don't feel. I reckon it's come from their senior playing group: Cleary, Toto, Edwards, Martin. I'll put Kenny in there, they just don't feel. It's just like, right, we'll go again. Are we losing the momentum or are we on top? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they just keep going. Yeah. They just keep going. They don't feel, mate, it's very simple. Boyd Cordner and Jake Frennan, those guys were like that. They just it didn't matter whether they felt good on top or felt like the momentum was against them. It was just, they just kept going and going and going. And
we'll be right in the end.
Can the other team go with you? And that's probably where the Roosters just haven't been able to go with Penrith and Melbourne over that period. But no one is even in the ballpark with Penrith at the moment. They may lose a couple of games here and there, but when it really matters and they have a big game, there's no one even in the... There's only one team I think that can beat them, and that's Brisbane. Purely for what you said. They bring something different.
Yeah.
And it's one man. It's in my opinion, it's Reece Walsh. That's the person that troubles them because he's different. There's no one else like him in the game. It's very hard to coach against him and train to prepare for him. He's the best attacking player in the competition when he's on, and that's the only team I can see. Melbourne, similar with Munster, Hughes, and now Farlongo and Harry, but they haven't been able to do it. Brisbane are the only team that's been able to do it in the last 5 years to get over them in a big game. So, yeah, there's going to have to be... Origin's going to be the big question mark for them. Do they all get through that? But if... The only way I can see someone getting close is if Nathan, Yo, or Dylan isn't there at the end of the year.
Yeah, through misfortune or foul play.
Yeah, which you hope never happens.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Or something special happens, and there's only two teams that, Reece Walsh and that Melbourne spine are the two that I look at and go, they're a bit unorthodox and can trouble them.
Yeah, I reckon there's two other teams that spring to mind that have got improvement in them and could get really good come the back end of the year. Canberra and the Dogs.
Yeah.
I think both of those could, but at the moment, at this moment in time at round 3, Penrith, an absolute class above. The Sydney Roosters conceded a lot of points in 3 rounds of football.
100, is it?
100 points in 3 games. They've faced some difficult opposition. No Lenu or Radley, which I'd like to see.
Yeah, I think it's a big one.
Yeah, I'd like to see those two in the side. But a lot of teams get have had injuries.
Yep.
Are they? Is the pressure starting to become here? Because I'm just looking at some stats. This is the longest drought in the NRL era without making a grand final. The previous record was between 2004 and 2010.
That's interesting for the Roosters.
For them not to make a grand final. So obviously the last one was with you in 2019 where they won it. It's now 2026. Yeah, not made a GF.
I can tell you from experience, the minute you walk in that door, there's pressure.
Yeah.
Internal, external pressure. Like when you put that jersey on, there's an expectation from the top there all the way down to the bottom. And then externally too, as media and fans, there's an expectation that they are there or thereabouts at the pointy end of the season. And they haven't been for a period of time. I think one prelim final since 2019. Yes. Yeah. I think everyone there's under pressure. And it's a good thing because of that expectation, but they need to figure it out really quickly and then figure out how they can go with the Melbourne, a Penrith. I'll put Bulldogs in there too. Canberra. They
Signed 2 players from outside. Obviously, a big focus on youth and youth development with the Barcelona, like that, Barcelona method, or strategy of development. Two players in the spine of 7 and 9. Robson, obviously, a 6 and a 9, as DC is now playing 6. Robson, obviously, his first game, hard to judge, especially against the Panthers. But are those decisions going to be looked upon as a big factor on what is said and spoken about and the conversations around Coach Robinson?
Yeah. I think it's very similar to 2018. Bought Cooper Cronkin and James Tedesco. And I feel like that was like, it has to get done. This year I was there in 17, we fell short and we probably had the team to be there. and then massive changes came in, and it never got said, and it doesn't. Things don't get said there at all ever from the top, but you got the feeling it was like, okay, this has to work, and it has to work this year, otherwise, we're all going to be under a lot of pressure. And it took us a little bit of time to get that going, but we ended up getting the job done. So we don't know what that would have turned out like, but it's almost like pushing the chips in and saying we're all in here.
What did you make of the halves performance?
It wasn't their best game. Yeah, obviously, it's very hard when I thought Reece Robson started the game really well. I thought they played a lot more direct. They got Lindsay going. They got Fahu going. But once that little period happened, Penrith scored 3 tries, and you start chasing against them, things got ugly very quickly. I reckon they're still trying to figure out how it works in terms of who's running the show or who's running at certain times, who's the main ball player, where does Teddy fit into it. They're not using Teddy as well as they have in the past. I thought last year when Teddy was there with Hugo and Sandon, they're both very square players. Yeah. Hugo's a very square player. He'll challenge you back on the inside. He runs the ball straight. He steps back on the inside a lot. He plays square for Ted, which gives him room. But they're playing a little bit across field. A lot of people getting dropped under. A lot of the halves running across, and Teddy hasn't had any opportunities out wide. He hasn't had any 3-on-2s where he can thread the needle. It's very man on out. They're not running the plays great, and they need to improve really quickly.
They've got time on their side. It's only round 3. Do you think they are a natural fit, DCE and Sam Walker? And I want to ask you about like bringing the best out of one another. Like I think in the middle, I know at different points in my career, we all had the same job and we all had the same expectations, and we all had there was non-negotiables. No matter who was in the team, it was like, right, we've got to do X, Y, and Z. And if you miss we're up each other for the rent. We're all. It was an equality-based thing that like everybody chipped in, everybody did kick pressure, everybody hunted from the inside, everybody ball played, everybody pushed up in support. But then in other sides I've played, it was like, no, let's complement each other. I'll do this because this is my strength. You do that because that's your strength, and I'll cover your arse if you cover my arse. And probably looking at more halves being the latter is we don't both need to be great kickers, long kickers. We don't both need to be great short kickers. And I think for that, DCE and Sam Walker complement each other really well. Deep yardage kick, DCE. Short kick, give the ball to Walker. But that's one area of the game where, that seems like it's a natural fit. There are other areas of the game, though, where you observe them play and go, they're not bringing the best out of one another. And, Kez, I go back to that interview you gave from when Sam Walker won the man of the match on Anzac Day, and you were happy to say this is his team, he's running the show, Sammy's our man moving forward. You not taking a backward step or a sideways step, but your role in the team was to complement Sam Walker. And with DCE coming in, this experienced half that worked for the Sydney Roosters in 2018 with the acquisition of Cooper Cronk. And you mentioned it didn't naturally fit and work from the very beginning, but it seems like we're on that road again, and it seems less likely that it's going to improve the way that yourself, Cooper, Teddy, and Jake Friend did.
Yeah, I think that 18 side it's different because we had a really, really good experienced squad. So Cooper came into a team that was probably let's call it out. We're ready to, I believe we're ready to go, and he added that little extra piece for it, and that piece he added was experience, calmness, maturity, and he knew what to do kind of when the heat really came on. And then we had to kind of put the puzzle together with how best to play with him, how he was best used inside that team, and how, you know, myself and James could complement him, and Jake Friend in there at 9 too. So I think it's it's different. This is a younger side. They weren't close last year, and everyone's just automatically put them straight up to. A lot of people have tipped them to win the comp or be minor premiers. Theoretically, on paper, does that combo look like it's going to work? No. Let's be honest. Like, it's not theoretically like. Yeah. But I said the same thing about Melbourne. Theoretically, that doesn't. You got Jerome Hughes and Munster, who are fullback 5'8", right? But the person who makes it work is Harry Grant. In that, I don't feel like Munster and Hughes complement each other at all. They don't play together much at all. Sometimes they'll come around and play to each other every now and then, but they actually play with their sides, and they play with Harry a lot. Yeah, they play a separate game. So they don't complement each other, like you're saying. And that's okay for a team like that. And Cronulla do it to a certain extent too. They don't complement each other really well, those two, but they make it work in a different style of way. And the Roosters boys, they need to find a way. They need to find a way to make it work. I think the next level and the involvement for Sam is learning how to unlock the people around him. We've always known he's brilliant individually, got a great short kicking game. We've seen him throw the passes to the wingers and things like that. We've seen him really dominate on the front foot. How can you unlock Angus Crichton? How can you unlock James Tedesco like Hugo was able to do? How can you unlock the two, well, especially Rob Toyer over on the right, and he'll get Billy Smith on the left? How can you start to bring those guys into the game and assist them, right? Yeah. Like, I think, like in their stats, their tries, I think they've only got one. Ches scored last week, one try. They haven't had many line break assists. Like, they need to start unlocking the people around them.
You use that phrase, find a way, and I get it. We hear it all the time. You just got to find a way to win. And a lot of the time that's defensive orientated. Just find a way to get there, find a way to turn up. With halves, is it, you know, and you spoke there about finding a way to unlock Teddy, unlock Angus. Is it an attitude thing? Is it an approach of I maybe need to just move to the side here, or park my ambition, or park my control on the team, and maybe invite somebody in to the party?
I think there's a bit of both. I think the half stuff's. I think the attitude thing for half is how you attack the line and how you present yourself to the line and run the ball and things like that.
But I mean more of an attitude of we're together in this.
Yeah.
We've got to do this together.
I can only speak from my experience. That's every half I've played with. There wasn't many, but it was always a partnership. There was never it was never ever, I'll just do my thing and hopefully they do theirs. Doesn't. It has to be a
like
joint thinking.
None of this. No. And I don't think I've seen it when Roosters have played so far, but you do see it sometimes where a half will throw their hands up in the air because they didn't get the foot.
Yeah, no.
I think Moses did it on the weekend, actually. Peasant got it and he threw his arms up. But then that's Mitchell, the way he plays. And I think they probably know Mitch is the man. And
I think the thing with them is
figuring that out.
I think it's a skill. I think it's a skill set thing and an attribute thing. Ches has always been, through his whole career, it's stood true for him for 355 games. He's a great runner of the ball, but he's never been like a really square player at the line. And Sam's hasn't so far been that really square type of player. And that's, I found with Teddy, that was the best way to unlock him. Just preserve as much space for him as possible, because he's probably going to beat someone one-on-one, and if they give him a 3-on-2, he's very good at them too. So I think that's part of it. They both love, I'll say, skipping across the field, dropping people underneath, trying to skip across defenders and things like that. and it's hard when you've got two people doing that. That was Cooper's biggest strength. He just played dead straight and square.
And just in terms for our listeners and our viewers, like you know, they talk game of inches, but the difference that makes you're going square into the line for someone like Tedesco versus if you creep into a little bit of his space, that we're talking like half a yard. That's the difference between that play being effective or ineffective, right?
Yes.
Like what are we talking? Like game of inches, half a yard,
half a yard. Would a bloke like Teddy half a yard?
So
they ran a play. There was a play in the first half. Ches took a right hand short side. He played really square underneath. Teddy got out the back, beat Talangi, went to throw long, hit Rob Toy short. He got stopped 30 centimetres short of the line. That was their best play the whole entire game.
Yeah.
And it was due to just giving Teddy a little bit of space.
Interesting. You mentioned Blaise Talangi. What a player he's
starting to fit in that system.
Isn't he just?
Took him last year he came in raw, like really raw. I think he was playing on the wing at Parramatta the year before. I was really impressed with him. That whole left side, Casey McLean, Papali'i, Talangi, they're just going to get, that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
They're probably just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, they are. In terms of the Roosters, the next block of fixtures, so Manly Thursday evening, DCE returns to Brookvale Oval. That is going to be a hostile, fragile environment for a multitude of reasons. Looking forward. I'm actually there for Triple M. Pumped we're going to be there at Brookvale Oval, 4 Pints Park.
What's the noise like after that? For both sides. For both sides?
After that?
Yep.
Well, if Manly lose 3 home games, you can't turn the noise up anymore. You're at full volume. If you lose 3 games at home, it's massive. Would you agree?
Yep. Definitely. And I reckon they would have circled, especially the Newcastle one. They would have fancied himself Canberra down there at home round 1, and then a bye into the Roosters. It's probably one you go, okay, we're a chance here of winning our first 3 plus the bye.
Then from a Roosters perspective, Manly this week. Then we'll talk about what happens if they are to go down on Thursday. But they go Sharks in Perth, Knights at home into Anzac Day Dragons. So look at a favourable block of 4 fixtures. But the Manly game, if they are to lose, does the noise start creeping in about Coach Robinson?
I think it will externally, which is fair enough. If a team that's fancied to be heavyweights goes 1-3 and loses at Brookie to a team that isn't going great at all, the external noise will happen. I can't say I know this because I don't, but internally, I don't think there will be. I think it's definitely I wouldn't say long term, but it's a season long approach to this. I'll try not to refer to it too much, but in 2008 we struggled a lot early in the year. We were 4-4 going in Anzac Day, got hammered by the Dragons, and I was even sitting there going, "Oh, we're in trouble here." And I think there was a lot of noise, especially around Cooper coming to the club. So it'll definitely be I don't like saying this, but they'll be judged in September of where they finish up. But that doesn't mean the noise won't be there all year. That doesn't mean there won't be pressure. There will be noise. There'll be pressure. But you get the feeling, definitely internally, that they're judged at the end of the year because Robbo's very well known for starting a bit slower and then finishing fairly strong.
Yeah, look, I think as well, I've got to congratulate the NRL and the spread of talent, especially with the Dolphins coming in. A lot of people thinking that was going to significantly dilute the comp, but there's so many teams that have so much upside that have that word that you used a few times, to the expectation to play finals, to play top 4, to win the comp. Like there'd be maybe 4 or 5. The expectation would be we can win it this year.
You know what I've found since the Dolphins came in? I reckon since COVID and the game's improved a lot of more money's come into the game. Perth, PNG, the Dolphins. It's fact. Every single team has set up an academy. If they haven't, then they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
They've all sorted out their development of players. These kids are coming through a lot more ready, and the competition for players is the hardest it's ever been. And it's improving players at a younger age.
Yes.
A lot more players are becoming first graders or being able to play first grade. So the actual expansion has forced the game to evolve, to move, for teams and clubs to improve their standards. Like these clubs are tipping millions of dollars into these academies and development programs and things like that. It's been great for the game. Like, because I remember, I think Andrew Johns and Brad, they were saying there's not enough players for this. Like, we're spreading it too thin. The game evolves and adapts. These academies are the best thing that's happened to the game.
Yeah.
And they've obviously taken it from the EPL
Yeah.
and European football.
Just looking at the rundown, we've got most games to get to, but producer Charlie White, he missed a game off, and our listeners will be surprised to hear it's not the Wars, but it's the Bulldogs. He's saying old
That's
news.
a week ago.
Thursday, mate. What a game of football! Like in the wet.
It was actually a high quality. I think they both went over 80%.
Yeah. How good was Crichton against Hudson Young? Like, is that not what people want to see?
The best, yeah.
Like the opposite sides of the field spraying each other, and then kind of like two boxers after a war of words come together at the end. The New South Wales teammates, like, and you know he was asked after the game, Stephen Crichton, what all the chat was about, and he goes, "Oh, he was just trying to get me to give his protein a shout out." Like, how good's that? Like, he joked about this ongoing, like that. I love that sort of stuff.
I'm loving the feuds at the moment. Stefano, Reece.
Yeah, Stefano
Reece
and
putting
Reece,
up a few
yeah.
photos.
Yeah.
Stefano coming out. Those two.
Adds
big,
to the
big
theatre,
Gordy.
doesn't it? Oh, Gordy and
The
his
South
feud.
Roosters won the week
Yeah.
before. The statements they put out after this show.
The away team. Yeah. How good.
You know what, that Bulldogs win? That's a coach's win, I reckon.
Yeah.
Had the bye, the 2 trick plays got him the 2 tries. I'm guessing that was...
Yeah.
I'm taking a punt. That was Adam O'Brien. He's come up with that.
I'm surprised they didn't go back to Crichton coming down the right-hand side again, because...
Yeah.
They,
once you do it once, you practice that. And you don't.
But I don't know. I thought it maybe use them as a foil and go to Tuala.
Yeah, they might come up. That might be this week.
That might be this week. I've let the cat
You
out of
just
the bag.
you
But
idiots.
it was a great win for the Dogs. Canberra are in the mix. I tell you what, that Ethan Sanders absolutely done kick out all ends up, like absolutely, like kick out's not
Tracy
normally
was just
kick out's not normally
yeah.
like that, and in the
No.
it's heartbreaking for Canberra. I think back to their year last year. I think they were 2-2, played the Sharks at home and got a win right in that corner.
Yeah.
Same corner against the Sharks on the buzzer, basically. And look, I think, to be fair, the Preston in the build-up, Canberra should have got a 6 again. Like there was a missed thing there, and it just the way the game goes is that the Bulldogs go and score.
Well, Bulldogs obviously won they could, they're not, but if they don't have those players that can ice the moment, Stephen Crichton in Vegas, Tracy, they could be 0-2
100%
after
right.
the bye. You know what I mean? And it turns around the Dragons are actually 0-3.
Yeah,
it's just
pieces.
Funny how the world works.
It is. But congratulations to the Dogs. I think Hudson Young, I love watching him play.
Yeah.
Look, there's some amazing back rowers in our comp. Amazing back rowers, and it's hard to separate. I reckon he's the best. At the moment, the last 18...
Yeah, he was awesome.
18th season and 3 games. I reckon
he was awesome.
He's playing...
I think the Canberra have a lot... Like you said, they got a lot of improvement left in him. I think Strange will get more used to playing on the right. he actually came over the left for that last try and played with Hudson Young.
Yes.
Which was interesting. It's funny, he's got a great left foot and he's actually played a lot of right, and I think he played a lot of right centre as a kid, so you use your left foot a lot to skip on the outside, use your fan, conflict to your winger. He's just got to learn how to use that as a ball player on the right, because on the left, if he come off his left at teams, he scored a lot of tries last year, close to the line, just bang off the left try, powerful like Jack Whiten. He's just going to have to adapt and find a different way to use that left foot on the right side of the field, which is going to be tricky for him, and it might take a little bit of time for him to get that going.
Yeah, but the Raiders, I think, rest assured, they'll be there or thereabouts. If they keep playing like that, it's a harsh game to lose, but there's enough there. And
they played 3 games in the pouring rain.
Yeah,
probably doesn't suit their style of footy as much. But they've actually, to be honest, I thought they were good round. They were awful round 2 in that second half against the Warriors, but they've played some great footy to complete at the level they did.
You mentioned finding a way to win, and you mentioned Reece Walsh and his brilliance. Well, the Broncos found a way to win. They had some Reece Walsh brilliance, and they massive upset, all things considered. Brisbane, nobody gave them a chance going down to the Melbourne Storm. They were dominating the headlines without their captain, Adam Reynolds, and they come away with the victory down in Melbourne.
That was an unbelievable victory. Like 14-0 down, you just got the feel everything wasn't going their way. They'll drop the ball, things just weren't working. I think Reece was I think not yet. He'll turn into a 5'8". I think he'll make this. I know he played it through his juniors. He played 5'8". When he's handed the keys, like he's just kicking game, 40-20s, up on the ball. He only had 5 or 6 runs the other night. The way he takes those short sides, I love watching it. I love playing short side. I love watching him play it. Like he's so fast. He's up over the ad line. It's very, very difficult to stop. I thought, again, we spoke about last week, I thought their leaders were really good the week before against Para. They tried really hard. They were their best effort players. They were the same again. Payne, Carrigan, Katoni, Reece. I think Corey Pakes played 80 minutes too.
They only used 15 players.
Yeah, wow. Really?
Yeah. They only used 15 players.
I said before the game they didn't need a win. They just needed to find themselves again, which they did. But then to get the win on top of it, even better. Hopefully quiets it down for them a little bit. Another big one again against the Dolphins, but that's just the one team I think can trouble Penrith if they get a chance.
Them using 15 players. Charlie White's got a puzzled look on his face. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So
Madge.
Look, they get the win, but is that a sign that he is like that's a play that says we needed this win? Like we're not in this for the long well, we are in it for the long haul, but we need a win today. So I've got to get my absolute best and squeeze that juice as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah,
because
he didn't want to take any of those boys off when it mattered when they started coming home strong.
Yeah, which is. And Tolty only played 27. So
14.
That's a lot of football. But you know what? They got the win. And some people say, oh, you criticise Brisbane. Look, I'm stating a fact. They used 15 players and Tolty played 27.
It's more of a credit to them.
Credit to them. But again, I guess the talk of burnout just maybe increases as the season goes on.
You're crazy.
Well, but
let them play.
Matt, congratulations, they got the win.
How good's it for the league when Brisbane doing well?
Oh, don't, Kez. I sent you that message last week with as a timely reminder of you can't have 8 teams that it's good for the game when those 8 teams are doing well. Insert side here. The Wars. We've got to touch on the Wars. 3-0 to start the season. So many listeners across the ditch that have just been waiting. Yeah, you got the win. Well done. You beat Newcastle. Yeah, thanks for coming. See you later, Waz.
Do you have any New Zealand listeners?
Oh, mate, arguably the most engaging supporter base with the buy round, often complaining about the lack of attention that they get. Hats off to Tanner Boyd. When injuries hit and you rely on those players to come in, I think, any observer of the Warriors squad would have had Tanner Boyd as maybe the fourth choice half, perhaps even fifth if you think about maybe moving Chance into six, taking to a picky out the back. But
he's the form half behind Nathan,
and it is exactly what you need when your club's going through not an injury crisis, because it's not that bad.
You lose your
but they're injured players in key positions. You either want a young player to come in and turn some heads and go, oh, look, I'm excited about that in the future. But then when your big dog's back, they come in. Or exactly what's happened at the Warriors, that third or fourth choice. I think most can excuse them just being steady and just getting through the game and relying on your other players to feature and get you home. But he's shooting the lights out at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's forcing him into keeping him there for the year. I don't think it'll be good for Metcalf. I don't think it hurts Metcalf at all to come back in as a 5'8", which I think he was a natural 5'8" coming through. Great run of the footy. He can still play up on ball every now and then, but Tanner can get him around. He's shown that he can. No, they've played the Roosters, Canberra, and then obviously a depleted Newcastle, but he's picked apart all three of them. Has Jackson Ford I shouldn't say it like this, but is he the leader there now? Has he gone past Fisher Harris and Barnett as the leader of that pack? No. Why not?
No, Fordy's just doing his job.
23 runs for 200 meters?
He's just working really hard. That's Jackson. He's just working. He's not...
I'm
he's
so
not
keen
naturally,
to watch. He's not going to pick him up and...
Yeah, he's not.
Okay.
He's probably not... I mean, obviously, I knew him a long time ago, and people change and people develop into leaders. Can't see Fordy the type,
take him. Yeah, okay.
Especially with Fisher Harris there, and
I'm keen to
Barnett,
see them three go.
And mate, they
because I thought Barnett was really good coming back.
Yeah,
you put them all three on at the same time. Do you rotate them?
Yeah,
I love their back row.
Oh mate, their back row's intense. It's great.
Where'd you have them this year?
I didn't have the Warriors in finals. And
wow.
All right. Well, I mean, look, I'm happy to be wrong. I just didn't see them playing finals at the start of the year. Nobody saw Tanner Boyd happening. In fact, probably most would have predicted that he was going to go the other way. There's still time.
Okay.
Love you, Wars fans. The West Tigers against Souths. Tigers, everything seemed so positive after round one, and usually we're talking about Tigers not being it. Stay out the news for off field. Unfortunately, injuries to Dewey and Luai. Looks like it's hopefully just a medial for Jerome, but the hamstring didn't look great for Adam Dewey. The height that
you don't walk off like
that. The
area
area that he was grabbing as well was in the hamstring tendon where it attaches.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I'm no.
Well, usually with hemis you grab him and then he couldn't walk.
Yeah, and he's been so good. He's been so good. They're going to have to do what the Warriors have done and rely on their third and fourth choice, and perhaps they move Api Coruscant into there. But again, I think South's defence, like Wayne Bennett was filthy after the game.
One of the great press conferences.
He was not in the mood to praise his players. I thought South Sydney, Jai Gray, some of the competitiveness of him, like him versus Bula. I mean, there's one winner, but Jai Gray had other ideas. There was a couple of try saves that he was heavily involved
coming through the middle.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was a good tackle,
mate. That's not normal for any player. Like, if that's Teddy, if that's Dylan Edwards, we're like, oh, he won them the game. What about this play? Connor Tracy.
He's unbelievable,
If Jai Gray was sensational.
You can't help but feel for the Tigers.
Yeah,
like, just when you think it's coming, the documentary comes out, they looked good, and then they lose it. It's going to be very. It's hard to see them winning without them too.
Well, again, they'd look at it's hard to see the Warriors winning without Metcalf.
Yeah, but
so
you can see
you
like
go for the Tigers. You go Latu, Fainu, Jock Madden have to come in, and do they? I don't know. Do they need to take control, or do you go more off Appy? Do you bring more from Jerome Bula?
It's going to be difficult.
It is. But the Warriors have shown that it's doable. And Latu Fainu, to be fair, mate, like a lot of people have major raps on him. Arguably, before Dewey coming into the 7 last year,
people
I think most people thought him and Luai would be
even people
the
questioning why they re-signed Dewey and things like that. Yeah, I guess I think he's still not fit. Benji said they got to check on him this week, but it'll be actually, you know what, it might be a good opportunity for him to. He'll be there for at least a month, I'm going to guess.
Yeah. Or do you move Appy in to 7?
Oh, you wouldn't want to. That's your last option, I think, just because he's so good at 9.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the best 9s. You've just got to go with it. Like the Warriors did, you've almost just got to go, let's just see how it goes. Hopefully that pack can hold them up through games and they just scrap their way to some wins. But it sucks. Yeah, it sucks for them. They lose their two halves.
And we know the league's going well when it's good for the league. It's good for the comp.
It's going to be awful for the league. It's going to be awful.
Awful for the comp that the Tigers
got
injuries. Final game, Sharks against the Dolphins. Dolphins look the real deal. Izzy Katoa, best game of the year so far. And again, their X-Factor players, Herbie Farnworth, the hammer, that was the difference for me.
I'll start with this. I reckon we're going to see this a bit this year. Teams are going to get themselves right up for Penrith and think this is our week. They're going to see where we're at, see if we can knock them off. They're going to put everything into that, and then the next week's just going to be a bit of
You think
a bit of a lull. I think it's going to be a little bit of a Panthers effect.
Yeah, the
Sharks certain times.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I called the game. It was as flat as I've seen them in years. Like that was just like.
And you think it's Penrith?
Dave Riccio, he said, it was a great quality game, right? Because they both completed really high, but it was just like a. Dolphins was still a bit nervous at the start of the game. They're still trying to find themselves. I reckon Christian Wolf's put a huge emphasis on. I reckon he said to him, "Don't even think about your attack. We need to sort our defense if we're going to do anything in this competition." You could feel them just like they were just trying to get into it, and then the Sharks were just playing, which is kind of understand. I think there's absolutely nothing to worry about with them.
Yeah,
I think they'll get back up. They had a really disappointing loss to Penrith, which I think a lot of teams are going to have this year. Dolphins, by the end of the game, they looked like they were like, righto, let's go. There was 5 minutes to go. The game was over. They scored 3 tries in that 5 minutes because they went, oh, watch this.
Yeah.
Now we've won. Let's go.
Yeah.
Morgan Knowles was enormous.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to say it, but
mate, he was
accused of being.
It wasn't. His numbers weren't ridiculous. He kick chased every single time. He folded Sam Stonestreet a couple of times. He was enormous. Like,
he hits. He's one of the biggest hitters in the comp. Like, I love his aggression.
Finafiliaki was the same. I think he was 19 for 160, 70, or 190 metres, sorry. He looks like he's an 80-minute back rower now. The pieces are there. They need to sort their defence, and that's a big tick. Cronulla at Cronulla, very good attacking team. Huge tick.
I still worry about the Sharks and their lack of, like, genuine game breakers. You've got Trindle to an extent, but I just... Yeah.
I said it like Nico's the one. They need
probably need a bit more.
They're in a similar spot to the Roosters where it's like you've got to find that step, and I reckon they're both clubs will be wrestling with that about we're good. But
what about Brayley? Do you reckon he's
been a little bit quiet too, but I think there'll be a lot more emphasis put on him from other teams about stopping him. Nico and Trindle didn't work well together on the weekend, but it was come off a flat platform. It wasn't. They didn't have huge momentum. I love the Dolphins back 5.
Yeah,
if they can get them going.
So I'm doing the Macca's top 99 players in the game. and I've been making my list. And little sneak preview, like it's not finalised yet. I'm trying to sort out my centres and who's the best centre in the comp. And I'm debating between Crichton and Farnworth. And Crichton's the best defensive. I don't know if there's a better attacking centre than Herbie in the game right now.
There isn't. The only one that gets close to him's Latrell, but you want to see it for...
Yeah.
Like if
Latrell's a moment.
You see it for a year.
Yeah.
There's Latrell's, in my opinion, a better attacking player, but I wouldn't say that now just because Herbie's done it for a few years, and he is that hard to tackle.
Yeah, he is. I'm leaning.
I think defensively he's good too.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Herbie being the best centre in the comp.
I don't think many people would argue with it.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards him being the best centre in the competition. But I've got my my Macca's top 99 players, and I'm just.
Who's your best fullback?
You'll have to tune in to find out.
It's an interesting one. Oh, we'll talk about
that.
Actually, sorry, Reece.
Well, it's Reece at the it's Reece at the moment. Yeah, it is.
This is as good as I've seen Dylan Edwards in this whole period. I reckon this is as good as I've seen him. Mate, at the ground, people wouldn't see this on TV. The stuff he was doing in defence was unbelievable. He was running in at A, back, across. There was nowhere to kick early. Sam Walker and that would have been looking for different times to kick early. They tested him with the short kicks. They were putting these midfield bombs up, trying to get the wingers down on him and Teddy. He caught everything.
Yeah.
He was defensively everywhere. He's
back to his...
Oh, he better than his best.
A struggling...
Better than his best. Honestly.
We were spoiled.
We're
spoiled with fullbacks. That's all we've got time for, Kes. We've got to get you to the airport again. Off to agenda setters.
Yeah.
Frequent flyers be flying.
I might have a crack at Woodsy tonight.
Do it. Do it. What are you going to have a crack at?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Find something.
Find something.
He can't because he doesn't have a team. He played for that many teams and he refuses to say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Tigers man."
Yeah. He's the Tigers man. You think it would?
He says he's they said he loved him at the Bulldogs.
What, for his 12 games? Not even, probably. If you like more of this content, please do have a look at the Patreon. Link is in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Love having you on, Kes. You've brought a very serious, educated, intelligent side to the show. So, look, I don't know if we appreciate it or... We've been talking in the background about, how you're making us look bad. We don't like looking bad. So the listeners have certainly enjoyed you as well. But we're still trying to figure out if we're getting pushed out, me and Charlie. It's going to become...
I think you're safe.
All right. Okay. I'll speak to the boss. See what
I'm
he
just
says.
a little side guy that rolls in on a Monday.